Hey Capstone, I'm Brian Winters, one of the elders here. And as you know, the elders are walking through the 23rd Psalm, and I come to verse 2. He makes me lie down in green pastures, and he leads me beside still waters. As you know, this is talking about a shepherd and his flock, the sheep, and we are the sheep. My problem is I don't have any sheep, and I don't know sheep. I know dogs, and I have dogs and their labs, and I just want to tell you a little bit about them, and because it lines up. Like a few years ago, we had this dog that it was a great dog, and like I could be sitting at home, and the dog, if I was watching TV, the dog would be laying there beside me, asleep. Sean could come home and the dog wouldn't even move, wouldn't even wake up, because, you know, Dad is in the room, and so if Dad's in the room, everything is all okay, she's safe, she's protected. And so she never even would wake up most of the time. But it was really weird, because if Sean was home alone and I came home, then the dog would do this really neat thing. She would wake up and then she would come around and sit right between the door and Sean. And she would sit there watching for me until she saw that it was me, and then she was okay. See, when Dad was around when Dad was around, everything was calm. It was in order, and so she was able to sleep. We have another one, Chandler, right now, that's a little nuts, but she does this neat thing in that Sean and I can be watching TV, and the dog will lay there on the floor sleeping, kind of dozing in and out. But when we go to bed at night, and we close the door, and we get into bed, and she gets on her bed, that dog goes to sleep, but it's a different sleep, because this dog snores. And this dog snores so loudly that it'll wake you up. But the reason she snores is she knows everything is okay. She knows everything is in order and calm and protected. So we come to this verse 2. He makes me lie down in green pastures, and he leads me beside still waters. I had to do some reading about sheep. Turns out sheep don't like to even lie down. They if anything is wrong, they're not laying down. And so if they are hungry, they will continue walking until they find grass. If they're scared, they just start running. Sometimes they don't even know what they're running from. They're just running because other sheep are running, so they're running too. But something I didn't know is about the dynamic in the flock. If you take a bunch of sheep that don't know each other, that haven't been around each other before, they are not laying down, because there's a lot of stuff that goes on in the flock. You know, with chickens, there's a thing called a pecking order, and that they peck at each other until they find out who's in control, and the others submit. Well, with sheep, they don't peck at each other, they headbutt each other, and so instead of pecking order, it's a butting order. And just one of the things you learn when you're at Capstone Church, things like butting order. But so they don't lay down if they're hungry, they don't lay down if they're frightened, and then the order has to be there from the flock, the dynamics of the flock. Well, the shepherd, the good shepherd, he comes in and he provides this order to the flock. He takes them to those green pastures. He takes them to the water so they can drink. And he provides order within the flock itself. But with the water, I heard this amazing sermon one time, and the preacher, it was so good. He said, sheep only drink from still water. It was a great sermon, but it doesn't apply, because they really do drink from running water. They really do. They don't like water, but this is a picture of just serenity, tranquility. And that's what's coming across here. The shepherd, the good shepherd, provides that picture, that safety for these sheep. Now, I know some of you are thinking, like, but Brian, You're talking about the green pastures and the still waters. Where are those? Brian, don't you realize that we are going through these very difficult times? And Capstone, I never, ever want to make light of. We have college kids missing graduation. We have high school kids missing prom and sporting events and friends. And we have people losing jobs. I don't want to make light of that. But Christ is our shepherd. He is the good shepherd, and he brings order to everything. He is our rock, our peace. And if you aren't resting today, I just urge you to open up your scripture, turn off the news, open up scripture, and go back to Christ, the one who never changes. He is the good shepherd, and he will bring order to your life. So today I challenge you. Let us lie down in his green pastures and snore. Guys, we love you and we miss you. Thank you.